Who is that?
It's me.
It's you.
Mommy and me.
Yeah. Yeah, here. Let's
What's
make
Mommy
sure.
wanted?
Do what?
I wish Mommy had a video with us.
You wish Mommy had a video with us?
Yes.
We want to. I don't know if Mommy can talk about baseball or not.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think she's going to take about makeup.
Talk about makeup?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is cool.
So it's Sunday again. We're rolling in. We got two special guests to start the show off tonight. They've been begging to be on the video, so they're gonna start off tonight. This is Audrey, and this is Marshall. We had Marshall's 4th birthday party today, and you want to tell them? Want to tell them what the birthday party was? Batman Lego. So we're really concerned right now with superheroes and more so than baseball and sports. Audrey wanted to talk about makeup, but she's not allowed to talk about makeup on my show. She talks about makeup on Mommy's show.
I want to talk about Transformers.
Marshall wants to talk about Transformers.
And I like Transformers.
Yeah. Audrey wanted to tell everybody about
Makeup.
the rules when we hit the ball in the yard.
And I should Brenda and the beavers.
Yep. So Audrey, tell them about the rules that we have when we hit the ball in the yard.
We hit the ball over Daddy's head.
The ball has to go over Daddy's head. That's the only rule we have when we hit the ball in the yard, is that the ball has to go over Daddy's head.
I didn't do that.
All right. So what do you want to say about Transformers?
I like them when they transform in people and cars.
People in cars?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you do, they want to make up. I'm not saying
we're not talking about makeup.
No.
We're not going to talk about makeup.
No. I just talk about Transformers.
Just Transformers and hitting the ball over Daddy's head. Got it? Was that fun?
Yep. Yeah.
All right, y'all ready to go?
Yeah.
Tell everybody bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Go on.
Bye. Bye.
That's my kids. They are 6 and 4. My son's birthday is today. He's still climbing around here. What you got, buddy? Go on. Go on downstairs. 6 and 4. My daughter just started playing basketball. She's into dance and gymnastics. I'm trying to get my son into gymnastics. He's 4. Not the tumbling gymnastics. We take them to a place. They do the bounce beam and the bars and all that other stuff. So they get into the body control and body weight development first. He's a bit of an antisocial cat. I was surprised he even talked on the show, but he was excited about telling everybody about Transformers, so we had him on. Audrey wanted to talk about makeup, and we weren't going to let her talk about makeup. So the show tonight, if you follow me on Twitter this week, I've been talking about fake recruiting, people that are pretending to be recruited, the importance of sleep in training, and the price of accomplishing your dreams and accomplishing your goals and really accomplishing, really becoming great at whatever you decide to do. So, one of the tweets that got a lot of attention this week was the price of, let's start with the recruiting stuff. I run across people all the time who talk about how they want to be recruited, how they want to attend this school or that school. They hope to do this, they hope to do that. It's funny because we don't have a problem telling a kid who doesn't have a 1600 SAT, like, yo, you're not going to Harvard, bro. You're not smart enough to go to Harvard. But when it comes to baseball skills and baseball tools, it's like, oh, don't tell him, he doesn't have these intangible skills to play at that level. You might hurt his feelings. Like, I'm all about being real with people. Like, I'm honest and upfront with people, so I don't lie to anybody. Exit velocity it's not the be-all, end-all, but if you have an 80-mile-an-hour exit velocity, like you're not playing at Clemson or Virginia or any, Tennessee or anywhere in the SEC, you got to be able to hit the ball at a minimal competency level of speed. You got to be able to hit it in the air often. Then you got to be able to adapt and hit really good pitching. Like, I know all that, but we're talking about from a training standpoint. People that say these things, but then what they want to do is they want to run around. They want to spend $600 for showcases, and they attend 40 showcases a summer. And by June of their senior year, they come and they wonder, like, Chad, I need you to help me. I don't have any offers. Like, bro, like 3 years ago, when it came time to train the tools that you needed to achieve your goals, like, you were out. Like, you were totally out. And so now it's time to, like, reap what you sow, and you haven't sown anything. Like, you don't have, you've played all these showcases, all these tools, and you've been evaluated 600 times, and every time you caught nobody's attention. You didn't catch anybody's attention. So the importance of training and lifting weights and increasing your deadlift and increasing your bench and increasing your squat, increasing your raw arm potential, increasing your ability to exit balls at a high rate of speed, increasing just your overall explosiveness along the way is way, way more important than spending $600 and attending every single showcase that you can find. I said this, for the price of 2 showcases, 2 perfect game showcases, you can train with me for 1 year, for whatever that's worth. If you think I could potentially help you be a good player, great. If you don't, that's fine too. But what's the value of development? When you say that, people are out. People are totally out. Like, you have to train to achieve these things. It's not about, if I go today, and I believe, man, like all I've ever wanted to do is sing country music. And I go today and, I go on American Idol, and man, it's all I've ever wanted. It's all I've ever wanted. And I go on there and I just suck. Like, I have no musical talent. Nobody's gonna offer me a record deal because I don't have the talent to do that. Like, you have to have measurable talent. There has to be measurable skills and measurable talent to play in college. That's at any level. I think Jeff Leach tweeted a few weeks ago that high school parents look down on D2, D3 players. There are fantastic players. My guess is every D2, D3 school that you can attend is better than most. I would say 98% of high school teams in America, because every player that's on a college team is a college player. Every player that's on a high school team is not a college player. And so you put 9 college players on a field against 4 college players and 5 high school players, it's not going to be close. And so D2, D3 are not underneath you. They have measurable talent for whatever reasons, academic reasons. That's the thing. I was talking to a parent this week, and we were talking about 3.0 student and marginal measurable skill and talent. Like, guys, NCAA coaches keep their jobs based upon academic reports. Like, you can't take flyer risk on marginal academic guys unless you're 95 to 100, or you have the ability to hit the ball 110 miles an hour and launch at 450, 500 feet. They might take a risk on you then and just monitor your academics the whole time you're there. But you're not that person. Like, you're not that guy. There's so many stories, I think, across the landscape that don't get told, of guys that were not the most. I mean, they certainly have tools and talent, don't get me wrong, but their tools and their talent weren't. There were a lot of guys. I mean, there's a lot of guys that hit the ball 95 miles an hour. And what stood out is you take a guy that's got 95 miles an hour, who's got a 4.0 GPA, who gets his foot in the door in a college program and then earns his way onto the field. There are way more stories than that, than just freak show guys who go in. I mean, how many of those are there a year? Maybe 10, 15, 20 at most, if that. I mean, I don't know how many 5-star football recruits there are every year, but it's not that many. I mean, there's so many more guys that have to earn their way. And the biggest way to earn your way is, develop the minimal competency of tools and talent and skill to do that. Like, I'm not going to be on American Idol or get a record deal or anything like that anytime soon because I don't have the skill or the talent. You're not going to Harvard, and if you don't have a 4.8 GPA and 1600, you're also not going to play college baseball if you throw the ball 78 miles an hour and or you hit it 82 on the ground all the time. Like, nobody's going to recruit you. Don't go to every showcase and then wonder, oh man, like nobody wants me. Like, of course they don't. Like, you're not good enough for anybody to want you. Like, you have to be good enough for colleges to want you. No college coach is going to say that, because when you go to a camp, which I just had a few kids go to a big camp, and the guy, it was an SEC school, and the coach gets up there and he says, we don't go after these big arms. We want guys that command. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You don't go after guys that throw 82 and command their pitches. Not in the SEC, you don't. If you do, you're at the bottom, which this team certainly was at the bottom. But they don't tell you those things because they want you to come back to the next camp. So if they stand up there in the front and they say, we don't recruit guys that throw right-handers that throw below 90, and we don't even look at you. Like, everybody in the room is eliminated and then they won't come out. I don't care. Like, I don't care. There's not, if you look at a big time college roster and a big time college pitching staff, watch top 25 games that are about to start in 2 weeks. My guess on top 25 teams with right-handers, you're not going to see really any weekend guys below 90. You might see some marginal freshmen that are 89, but they have ridiculous secondary stuff. I mean, something that is just off the page. So any other training should be geared towards doing. If you desire to play at the next level and you're not training to do that, then you're not going to play at the next level. I don't care if you attend every showcase in America. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, there are so many players that don't get that. Like, if you want to pursue whatever level you think you're good enough to play at, you have to have the measurable skills to do it. Like, you have to have, if you're going to go to Harvard, you have to have the measurable academic skills to be able to do that. If you don't, then you're not going there. And that goes for all levels and all abilities and all talents. Like if you're going to play at a D2 school, you got to have the measurable skill to do it. And you got to be a pretty darn good player. Like, there's not bad players at D2, D3. Don't look down on those players and think, man, I don't want to play at that level. Like, I train guys that play D2, D3, and they are better than just about every high school kid that I train. They're all good. College baseball at every level is good. Professional baseball at every level is unbelievable. Every player that is playing professional baseball, that is getting paid to do it, is really, really, really good. So that kind of goes to the next topic, is like, what is the cost? Like, I think 108 tweeted that, and Kyle Bodie came back and said, success many times is about what you're willing to give up. Not what you're willing to give. Like, there are so many people that are, there are not so many people, but there are a lot of people that are willing to work hard. But this goes into the topic of sleep. Like, what are you willing to give up? What are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up some of your social life in order to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep every single night? Are you willing to give that up? Because if you're not, then you're not going to be at the peak of your level of training. You're not going to be at your peak performance. And if you're not at those levels, then you're missing out on gains you could get. Like, if you're not willing to give those things up, then you're not willing to do what you need to do to be successful. Like, I'm willing to work hard. I'm willing to put in the work, and a lot of people are. But what are you willing to give up? Like, you can't have it all. That was my point in the tweets this week, is like, you can't have everything. There has to be sacrifices somewhere. And I used myself an example, like I wasn't I'm still not real popular, because I stay so focused on my craft that I miss a lot of things. Like, my son's 4th birthday party was today. I was there for an hour. I had to go to the facility, set the things up for the high school group. I came home. I was at the party for an hour and a half, and I had to go back because we had players in the facility that needed my help. And then I was back. I was in and out. But like, what do you give up in order to be successful? Like, I want to help as many people as I can help. I certainly want to be successful as a coach. I want to be successful as an entrepreneur. I want to be successful as a businessman. But Like, what things in your life as a player are you willing to give up? Like, and sleep being minimal. Okay, I got on sleep because, like, I continually watch players, and I will tell you two stories of players, because if you don't realize it until you measure these things all the time, and you see guys that like that guy hasn't been sleeping very well. Like they drag in, and then all of a sudden it's pull down day, and their pull downs are down 5 miles an hour, and you ask, like, dude, you been sleeping at all? So here's the two stories. We had, probably last year, we had a kid who started in the drive line. He was the catcher. He started in the drive line arm, velocity program. We were trying to get his raw arm talent and ability up so he could just play at a different level. Because I believe that raw arm talent is more important than pop time. Like, I want catchers that can make throws when the environment is not perfect. Like, what are you going to do when the environment is not perfect? Like, what are you going to do when it's not a perfect feed in a perfect environment, in a perfect showcase environment, and you can't make the perfect throw? Like, what do you have to do when you have to go a little bit to your right, get it out, and take one step and throw it? Like, I think our raw arm talent is more important. Anyway, this kid starts, and he probably trains 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and just no real gains. And I know this kid. I know this kid's family. Like, I know this kid is staying up late at night. I know he's playing video games till 1 in the morning. He's getting up at 7:30. He's trying to go to school on 6 hours of sleep. He's coming in. And sleep wasn't on my radar big time at that point, but I was seeing this kid, and he wasn't going anywhere. Like, his velocities weren't going up, and everybody's velocities are going up, and his aren't going anywhere, and he's a good player, and I'm just like, what is going on? So we get like a Christmas break or something, and he has his wisdom teeth cut out. So he misses like a whole week. And because if you've ever had your wisdom teeth cut out, like, you were down, like you were sleeping like you're just laying around a whole week. So he comes back the next week. He gets 1 day of throwing in, and then the next day we're gonna arm grade again. Well, he says, "You want me to arm grade? I haven't thrown in a week." I'm like, "Yeah, I want you to arm grade." The kid's velocity was up like 8 to 10 miles an hour in that one arm grade. Why is that? Because he finally rested. Like, his body finally recovered. He finally rested. He finally caught up in his sleep after having his wisdom teeth cut out. And throwing 1 day, his velocity went up like 8 to 10 miles an hour. And that was when it dawned on me, like, if that's the price, if the price is I have to have these measurable tools, then you have to recover to be able to do those things. And if you're not willing to give that up, then you're not really serious about your goals and your aspirations as a player. Because if you're not willing to give things up, then you can't achieve what you say you want to achieve. And then that goes back into fake recruiting. Like, a lot of people would just fake it, and at the end, make an excuse why I didn't make it, blame it. It's easier to, like, put in half effort and then blame it on your coach, because there's a lot of bad coaches. There's a lot of bad developers. There's a lot of bad advice. And if you wanted to, you could blame it on that. Like, my coach didn't tell me to do this, or my coach did. No, man, like, information is out there. I was talking to a dad tonight. Like, the information is out there. I don't care what Johnny, local high school or college coach tells you have to do. Like, the information on what you have to do as a player is out there. Like this guy said that launch angles are BS. Like, they're not. Like, optimizing your exit velocity at 20 degrees is not BS at all. Like, that's what the information, the data says, so that's what we try to train and do and try to maximize. Not because we're trying to be rebellious, not because we're trying to be right, because that's what helps players be the best version of themselves. If the data said launching the ball at the high exit velocity at 0 degrees or -5 degrees was best for players, that's what I would do. Like, I've said that before. That's what I would do, because all I want is what's best for players, and that's what we would try to figure out, and that's what we would try to optimize, and that's what we would try to train, and that's what we would try to design, and that's what we would try to do. Not because, again, we're trying to be rebellious, or we're trying to be right, or we're trying to prove this or prove that, but that's the way players are going to be the most successful versions of themselves. So that's what we try to help them do. And so that's all I'm trying to do. It goes, then it all goes full circle. And if you want to be successful, what are you willing to give up? I mean, it's that easy. Not what are you willing to give. I understand that there's a minimum, but there's a lot of people that work. Like, I watch people that work, but they're not successful. And there are guys at the top that are certainly, they haven't given things up. We all have genetic advantages. We all have environmental advantages. I talked to the interview that I did this week with the guys is, if you don't live near a guru, it's the best time ever not to live near a swing guru, because their ideas and the information are out there. Just seek that information and seek to train and seek to be better. And, you'll get a long, long way on free information that you can find on Google. You will. You'll get a long, long way. It's just, what are you willing to give? What are you willing to sacrifice to achieve what you want to achieve? It's easy to say, I want to be recruited. I want to be this. I want to be that. But when it comes time to train, you know what? Those players are out. They're out. They don't come. They don't show up. And 3 years later, 4 years later, 4 years down the road, after they've spent all this money on this showcase, this team, that team, this team, and they have not one offer. Because, hey, Chad, can you help me? I'm like, man, no. Like, I can't help you. I tried to help you. I've tried to help you at every step of the way, and you didn't help yourself. So this is the bad lay in it. Like, it sucks because you know that what you do and what you can do for players is going to help them achieve what they want to achieve. But if they're not willing to do the work, they're not willing to do the work. And you have to go into your motivations of, like, what motivates me? Like, what do I want to achieve? Why do I want to achieve what I want to achieve? Nick Saban said, it takes what it takes. There's not a lot of options. If you want to be great, or if you want to achieve something that is in the top 10%, there's just not a lot of options. You have to sleep 8 or 9 hours a night. The other story was this about the sleep. I told the one about the wisdom teeth. The other one was, because I have a kid that's done a really excellent job. This since June till now, he's been excellent. His exit velocities are up 20%. I mean, he went from a kid that was not even a marginal college player, probably wouldn't have played. He's 82, 83 exit velocity, low ground balls, and now he's a 93 to 95 exit velocity guy at 20 degrees, does damage, really dynamic mover, adaptable. A lot of good things are happening for him. But his top end has always been 95, and here recently there's been a lot of snow here, so they haven't gone to school, staying up all night, coming in trying to train. His numbers in the last 2 or 3 weeks have been down a lot. But one Sunday, he goes and he plays in a league in another facility that has a hit tracks, and he hits his all-time exit velocity on a Sunday at 97. Like, why does that happen? Like, he's never hit, that's 2 miles an hour faster than he's ever hit in our building. You could say, well, the hit tracks, whatever. I believe it's because for 2 days, he actually got to sleep as much and his body recovered. And then he finally went somewhere and hit fresh versus rolling in to my place Monday through Friday. And, he's at a sleep, he's at a sleep deficit. He hasn't slept. He's trained. He's broken his body down. His body continues to go down. And he just doesn't achieve, and then he goes and he breaks his exit velocity number in another facility by 2 miles an hour, which I was happy, 97 miles an hour. I was happy for him, but also at the same time expressing to him, like, why do you think that happened, man? Like, why do you think you're 2 miles an hour faster on a Sunday afternoon than you are ever in here on a Monday through Friday? Yes, you have to go to school. Yes, you have to get up. Yes, you have to go. But what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up late nights on YouTube and Snapchat, talking to your buddies, staying up late, looking at your phone screen way too late in the night, not being, like, and I get it, like, going to bed at 10 o'clock as a teenager is not in the cards, but, like, make an effort to go to bed by 11 or 11:30 and sleep. They don't have to be to school at 8:30, so make an attempt to sleep till 7 or 7:30. You get 8.5 hours of sleep every single night. You are doing really, really good. You're ahead of the curve because everybody else is trying to run on 5-6 hours of sleep and think they can do it. And I tweeted this. Wouldn't it be silly to lose to, well, more so the mental fatigue, central nervous system fatigue, and that's the point I was going to make. Wouldn't it be silly to lose to someone who you have better tools, better skills, better talent, but haven't slept So you're playing at 80%. When they have slept, their central nervous system is primed and ready to execute and fire. And they play at 100% of their 80% of your talent and ability versus 100% of somebody that is less talented in ability is the same thing. It would be a shame. It would be a shame to be a player of that caliber and get outplayed by people, all because you weren't disciplined enough to go to bed at night. And that seems silly and that seems cliche, and it's like, Chad, you're stupid. Like, I see the numbers of players that don't sleep every day, and it's significant. It's significant. But again, success is not for everybody. Greatness is not for everybody. High achieving is not for everybody. It is all in what are you willing to give up. Are you willing to give up your phone in the evenings? Are you willing to put your Snapchat down? Are you willing to put your YouTube down? Are you willing to put your video games up and go to bed? Because I have to sleep in order to be able to train and perform at the level I want to train and perform at tomorrow and every day after that. Because if you don't, then you're not really serious. Fake recruiting, fake everything, because you're not really, like, I say this a lot, do your actions map, or do your actions map towards what your words are saying? Because your words are useless. Do your actions map towards that? Are your actions matching the words that are coming out of your mouth? And in a lot of times they are not. And it's unfortunate because, everybody has talents and abilities to explore, but we get lost in two things. We get lost in a fixed mindset, and we get lost in just, like, the inability to sacrifice for what you want to do. And I think that is true of, if you want to be if you want to run a successful business, are you willing to work 16 to 18 to 20 hours a day? That's what it is. Like, if you're not willing to do that, then the greatest idea in the world is not going to work. You have to work. You have to fight. You have to earn every bit of achievement you have. And there is a minimal competency of hard work, but it is also in very much in what you have to give up. So I've kind of been on that soapbox this week. I've talked development some on Instagram. We talked a little bit of exit velocity on Instagram. Was engaged in a conversation today, again, about, if you're a kid who doesn't hit the ball very hard, if it's still not good to hit in the air. No, if you're a kid that doesn't hit the ball very hard, then train to hit the ball very hard. Exit velocity training is real. Like, it is a real thing. Like, talking to the dad tonight, like, coaches that write off exit velocity launch angles, coaches are quick, and people are quick to disregard things that they don't know, or that make them uncomfortable, or fly in the face of what they think they know. So developing power for a lot of people, for a lot of coaches, is just like, you can't develop power. You either have it or you don't. Until you see a guy like myself who walks in with a computer and a stack of weighted bats that are this high, and we develop power. Like, we really do. Like, here's the numbers that back it. And then still at that point, it's like, oh, well, those guys are freaks. No, they're not. Like, I said this, I don't coach any freaks. I live in a place where there are no professional players. There are hardly any college players. But we are able to get these kids up to a level that in the last 2 years that we're going to start pumping out some college players, some really nice college players. And I think our programs that are online now are going to really start elevating players to a level that they didn't think they could get to with their own local guru that said, well, you can't develop power. You got to do, you got to have this swing mechanic or whatever, whatever people say. So, develop your exit velocity. It can be developed. I develop it every day. I shared numbers from the swing tracker. If you have a tool that's even as simple as Swing Tracker, you can track and measure your swing input improvement. I shared a tweet yesterday of an online client who I have never met, who uses my programs, built the bats. We talk all the time. He does the training. His exit velocity is like, it's up maybe 15 miles an hour. And he switched to a BB core bat from a drop 8. And his exit velocity is up 15 miles an hour. Like, weighted bat training and intent-based training and overload constraints and swing pattern work, it works. And I can't I can't prove that to people because it's so unknown, and it's in such a place where it's so unknown. People are just quick to write it off because it's like, oh, that doesn't work. You have freaks. No, I don't. I don't have any freaks. We really do train power, and we really do train exit velocity. We try to train adaptability. We try to train because we are, to be honest, right now we're in full adaptability mode in our facility. We are trying to blend and hit fastballs and hit live pitching, and we're doing a lot of variable angle front tosses and just really hammering on adaptability more than power and speed right now because we've built that. Like, we've built guys who hit the ball 95 to 100 in high school now. Now they have to go be on time in a game and hit a fastball. And if they can do that, they've got the ability and the talent to be really, really good. Now, them getting that figured out in a game, I'll certainly be there to help them, but a lot of it will be on them. Like, a lot of it will be on their internal, like, okay, like, now it's my own swing process. How am I going to go adapt this to a fastball and get it done when it counts? So, does anybody have any questions, concerns, sleep, fake recruiting, fake goals, fake talk, whatever? My daughter's talking about hitting the ball over my head. My son likes Transformers. They started off the show. Again, if you're just tuning in, I didn't say this in the beginning. My name is Chad Longworth. This is the Sunday Swings live show. There is a Sunday Swings podcast that you can go watch. You can download this show after it's over and listen to it while you're on the road, while you're at the gym, whatever. You can listen to my ramblings week to week on things that I talk about online, in the facility, training experiences we have, data we have, training we have. Just trying to share ideas. I'll probably watch this in 2 or 3 years and think, God, I was so stupid. But I'm not afraid to put it out there. Like, I put a lot of things out there, and I look back on it 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm like, God almighty, I was stupid. But it's okay. Like, I've told you this, like, I'm wrong about everything, and I'm not real smart. So being wrong and adjusting and tweaking the journey along the way doesn't offend me at all. Like, I'm not trying to be the smartest guy in the room, or even right for that matter. I'm just trying to go where the information, the data are taking me and try to figure that out. And, you know, guys that don't need information and data, I wish I was as smart as you are, because you obviously have it figured out and I don't. So, are there any concerns? Are there any regards? Watch the podcast. Listen to the podcast. You can watch the past shows on YouTube. Follow C Long Baseball on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I share a lot of training insight there. If you're not a member of the Velo Lab Online program, I really encourage you to do that. Weighted bat programs are there. Weightlifting programs are there. I just put the new in-season college weightlifting programs there for college players that need in-season weightlifting programs that don't have the organization around them, maybe at a D3 or D2 level, that need in-season lifts that they're on their own to do. They're there. Join that. It's cheap. For the price that you can join the Velo Lab Online program, it's 1/6 the price of a Perfect Game Showcase, and you get a whole year of training updates, training programs, instructional videos, weighted bats, weighted bat training, weighted ball training. It's all the training that we do in-house. I put it online, I put it there, and hopefully the people that are there are tracking and training their improvements, and they are going to have the ability to do really big damage at the plate this spring. Are there any questions, concerns, or regards? If not, I will see you on the internet this week, and hopefully you have a good week. And hopefully, if you need me, I have open DMs on Instagram and Twitter, so you can message me at any time. Be sure to sleep minimal 8 hours every single night. It's not something that you can make up on the weekends and carry through the week. Like, you have to be disciplined to that. What are you willing to give up to be successful? That's the question. So, if there are not any further questions, I hope that you have a good week, and I will catch you on the internet. Thank you.